Speaking of Kenya, you know what one of my friends said earlier today? He's like, missing Kenya already. Look, I feel like when the sooner that we can admit that like people do wrong and we hold them accountable for it and we're mad at them for it, but also the human part of us also like will miss the good times and miss what used to be and wish that, bad things had never come our way. I think that's fair. So I think it's okay to miss Kenya. There's iconic moments there. It's a legacy, which quite honestly is, if you ask me, is the root and reason of all of it as to why this is so painful to watch, as a viewer. Because look how many one season wonders there are, even to come on this show, make it 2 seasons, 3 seasons. It's like, it's a blessing. And so it's so rare, and so many weird factors and things have to fall in line, and the timing and the context of the environment and the world around you all have to really align perfectly to make it on reality TV that long. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that it's really, really sad and unfortunate that Kenya was one of those, the handful of, reality TV talent and Bravo talent that, not only made it that long, but everyone knew why she made it that long. Like, she was an icon. Like, nobody was like Kenya. And to go out the way that she did is just so sad. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's literally that saying, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. It's just so unfortunate that and look, maybe it won't be her departure from the network. Maybe it won't be her official, the closing of the Atlanta Housewives chapter of Kenya's life. But if it is, dang, like, just all for a newbie. Not that newbies are any less than, our veteran talent, but it's just so sad to think that the actions of someone who just got onto the show, caused you to act in a way that you probably knew better than. And unfortunately, those actions now could be impacting your job and your future. So yeah, I think all that is really sad. But we're going to talk about NextGen New York City, the trailer for what we thought was going to be called Making It in Manhattan show. We are going to talk a little bit about the Bethenny and Gia of it all. We're going to talk about a little bit of tea that I have. We'll see if now look, it could be wrong and I could be getting lied to, but it's what I was told. We'll see. We're going to hit on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion from last night, and then maybe a little bit of White Lotus if we have time. So let's start with NextGen New York City. I'm not sure if you saw, but if you didn't see, Bravo announced NextGen New York City, which is the show that has like Ariana Bierman, Kim Zolciak's daughter, Gia Giudice, Teresa's daughter. It has Riley, Candy's daughter. It has Brooks, Meredith Mark's son. All of them kind of doing an ensemble show in addition to some new people. And it's like kind of, a young lifestyle show in New York City. Just all of them living their lives and, their interactions with one another. And they released the trailer yesterday. I had a very, very cool experience. I was recording, doing a crossover episode of My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast, and Turning the Tables with Teresa yesterday. And we were actually supposed to record the day before, and it ended up getting pushed at the last minute because of the construction you can hear outside my house. And we were on, and all of a sudden I got a text from my friend, and it was the Gia announcement for the trailer. And so it was really cool to be on with Teresa and tell her like, oh my God, like, look, and we reacted to it together. We watched it together. So that crossover episode is out. I think the whole video is on YouTube, and the episode's in both feeds for My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast, and Turning the Table. So yes, very fun to see. We all know Teresa loves her daughters, right? Daughters. I can't say it, but it's so iconic that she, plays into that. And she was very proud, and it was cool to see her excitement. So yes, it looks like there's going to be some drama. These kiddos are trying to make it in one of the hardest cities in the world, but we all know deep down we got that little bit of back information. It's probably a lot easier for them than it would be me and you going there. They got mama and daddy's money there. And speaking of mama and daddy's money, one of the digs that, like in the trailer, they show people fighting, and it's just these like random lines like people throwing at each other. and like insults. And one of them was like, "You still get $10,000 a month from your dad." And I'm like, oh man, like you won't ever find me screaming at that. You might find me crying, yelling at that to someone like you, like I'm so jealous, but like I ain't holding it against you. Good for you. Someone says, Mel NYC reviews. I think I saw this show filming around town. Oh my God, yes. Tell us, where in New York City do you live, Mel? And there were not too many, but there were a handful of like videos and pictures, you know, like people out and about that would see them filming, and like it would make it to Twitter and all that stuff. So yeah, I saw a couple clips. I saw one of like Gia and Brooks filming. And then there was one of Riley. Oh, there was them all at like a big gala or a dinner or something. I remember that one. And then Teresa says that they filmed at her house. They did like a pool party at her house, but she was out of town. So it sucks that Teresa wasn't there. You want to see Brooks dating? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we're going to get probably a heavy glimpse into his personal life. So, which will be interesting. I'm thinking like, you know, we may feel like we know these people, which we probably do. We probably know them to an extent. You know, how we feel like we know Housewives and stuff to an extent. But really, if you think about it, though, we have seen the kids for years and years and years. It's always in addition to their parents and in response or in involvement to whatever action or storyline is going on around them. So it's going to be cool. I think we're going to learn a lot about these kids and maybe see them all in a different light, maybe think of them all differently, hopefully for the better. And we will see. And I think that it's really like, I know that like Bravo, you know, probably like had this idea or has been sitting on something like this for so long, because it's not that hard of a concept, you know, like when you think about it. But it's also like you can only do it once, and I feel like you got to get it right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they're going to get it right. Like a lot of people are giving it a hard time and talking crap in the comments. I'm kind of here for it, and this is coming from someone that admittedly struggles to branch outside like Housewives and Married to Medicine, because I prefer, you know, women ensemble focused shows, like middle-aged women, older women, not like I've always said if I wanted to watch like debauchery, I would go back to UNC Charlotte, 20 minutes up the road. You know what I'm saying? But I escaped that, you know, and because of the stress it brought to my life. And so these kids stress me out is what I'm saying. I can't take on anymore because, you know, like I said, when you watch for years and years and you really care, it's almost like you take on those issues, you know, like you mean to tell me y'all haven't had a little bit of anxiety and your chest ain't got a little bit tight thinking about Karen in county jail? Mine has. Not my fault, nothing to do with me. I still feel it, you know? So what I'm saying is I can't really take on other programs, okay? However, I'm taking this one on and I can't wait for it. It premieres June 3rd, which I think it was June 3rd. Was it June 7th? Let me check just to make sure. Let's see. NextGen NYC premiere date. Also, like I said, it was going to be called Made in Manhattan. Oh, wait, this says May 27th on USA. That's a lie. June 20th or June 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern. What night of the week is it getting? Let's see. That says a lot. It's a Tuesday. What's on Tuesdays now? Beverly Hills. Okay. All right, interesting. So I'm excited. You know, I'm really excited. So, all right, chill, Max. I'm not interested in the children on actual show, so I'm not watching them in their own kids trying to make it and fake it in New York. Tell us how you really feel, boo-boo. You know, and look, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe, and I do hope that it's not flop incoming. Okay, listen, you might be right. I will say my biggest hope for it, I don't want to feel like, you know, the overproduced stuff. Like, yeah, I hope that there are some genuine connections, you know, like even if they were placed into each other's orbits for this show, like I hope it doesn't feel that way for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like when we watch Real World, like, you know, that like none of them knew each other before. I think us being Bravo viewers and, you know, the sense of these shows is genuine connections and, you know, interactions amongst groups and families. with them being like we associate them with those shows, with Housewives. So it's going to be hard to see them in an environment where it feels fake. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not, but we will see. Also, isn't June 3rd kind of far away? I'm like, why? That's a lot. The tariffs are going to be changed 85 times by then. Like, that's a long time away. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? June 3rd? Is that even that's a different season than we're in right now. I just feel like they announced it real late, real early. But maybe actually, I don't know what kind of marketing tactic that would be. Would that be because you're excited and confident and you really want to get the word out there, or you're nervous and want to use all the time you have? I don't know. But either way, one thing we can celebrate is that we do get to see some some housewives on there and former housewives, one of which is Kim Zolciak. And I say, baby, 2025, Ariana Bierman and Kim Zolciak getting a Bravo paycheck. God is good. And so let's celebrate that. I know that she probably spent every damn penny of it on glam for filming, but it is what it is, you know? And so we'll get to see them. Meredith makes an appearance. I believe Candy does. I think Teresa is in it, even though she wasn't at that pool party that I mentioned. And then I believe Meredith is in it as well. So nervous and needing to build momentum, or there's other shows that could outshine. See, also too, so June, I'm wondering so Beverly Hills ends next week, which is like April 17th. So there's like 5. What's next? Is there nothing on Tuesdays between Beverly Hills and this? Surely. I don't know. Let me know. Is something else coming up on Tuesdays? Are we about to hit a dry spell? Please don't tell me we're about to hit a dry spell. Actually, I need a dry spell. I take that back. I need a break. I worked 13 hours yesterday. And then guess what I did? I went and sat on my couch to watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I need a break. I need to not have Bravo homework when I get home. I love these ladies, but, you know, distance makes the heart grow fonder. So let's put some distance there for a month or so. Yes, I'm ready for a break. Let's also talk about, speaking of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, wanted to get y'all's thoughts on Patrick McDonald, who is a Bravo producer, very successful Bravo producer, has been involved in multiple shows and Housewives franchises, seems to be really respected and appreciated by cast, which to me says, you know, I always say I worked in production. So if your cast and fellow crew love you, that says everything, you know? And unfortunately, bless his heart, he admitted or revealed that he started to feel a little shut out from Bravo production and the production company. I'm assuming Evolution. I guess Evolution. And that it's just been less and less calls about, you know, upcoming work. And, you know, normally in that world, if you don't know, like, yeah, a project might only be 8-9 weeks. But the thing is a lot of them work the same projects and, you know, they bounce around. So like you'll do Beverly Hills, then you might have a month off. And then if a OC starts, then they'll brought you down there, or like you know people, there's a lot of networking involved. So it seemed he was just going from show to show and doing a lot of really major projects. And it all just started to dwindle whenever he began to dabble in adult entertainment. Okay. So like OnlyFans. And OnlyFans is I'm pretty sure it's in Webster's at this point. Like it's let's stop acting like you know, like who cares? It is what it is. But he thinks that has had a lot to do with why out of nowhere, despite there never really being I guess any issues with his work or any, you know, it's not like he was called in and given warnings, or he's never really indicated anything like that. So he seems to think that, you know, it's in relation to him deciding to do this, which he says he only did because it was a toxic work culture. And though he enjoyed it, like it was tiring and mentally taxing, and that he had friends who had, gone the OnlyFans route and were traveling the world and meeting cool people and working a lot less, but making a huge extra percentage of the money. And, sorry, I had to text someone. And he decided to start doing it, and I guess is probably making some money. But at the same time, I think he probably still wanted to, to still continue some of his work in the creative production space. I don't know. So yeah, he seems to think that Bravo is doing that without, obviously they can't admit it or won't admit it, but also it might not even be like a Bravo thing. It could be an evolution thing. And that is one issue with a lot of the things, the problems that people have with Bravo is like, yes, I guess like it is technically their call, but like Bravo is like the center, and there are so many various production companies with tons of people at them that are assigned different projects. And those are the people in the field making calls and doing things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I guess we will see, but he has been being very public about it, and about as public as you could be when you want to go anti-Bravo. Guess where I just saw he did an interview at before I hopped on here today? The Bethenny podcast. So you only go to the Bethenny podcast when you want to go put Bravo in the ground. And not to say that he shouldn't feel upset and slighted. I would, So I hope that Bravo, if they had no direct involvement in that, really gets ahead of that. But T.O. Patrick has been out. What is he saying? T.O. Patrick has been outside for a minute. What do you mean outside? Like outside, like ousted from production? Like outside in these streets? Because I'll be outside in the streets and that's okay. Listen, like Britney Spears says, there's only two types of people in the world: the ones that entertain and the ones that observe. And if Patrick wanted to do a little bit of entertainment with this, maybe with a little less clothes on, then that's up to him. I ran into him years ago. He was a bartender and super wild and super rude. I mean, you don't know what people are going through at the time. And people can, so in the gay community, all know each other. Street's been talking about him. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I don't know anything about all that. But I just think that regardless of who you may, as bad as much as this sucks, regardless of who you maybe are, if we're talking solely about work and his work record is what he made it out to be, and there's nothing, you know what I'm saying, then there really it is unfortunate that this happened, especially when OnlyFans has been a topic of conversation in multiple shows on Bravo, both, yes, in a negative light and positive. But so Gossip says his wild ways got him hired. That ain't his fault either, So what I'm trying to say is I think he should be able to do whatever he wants to, as long as the content is contenting on Bravo. You know what I'm saying? And I also just think that with everything else that Bravo and NBC have going on with, X talent and stuff coming for them, I'm like, God, just like, don't even add this to your plate. Like, what are you thinking? Like, let the guy do what he wants to do, And quite frankly, eventually he'll probably be making more than most of the talent on their casts, or most of their shows. And so I just don't understand why this is a personal thing. And again, there's three sides to every story: your side, their side, and the truth. And not to even say that either side isn't full of the truth. Everyone has their own perspective and experience about how things went down. What he is explaining his experience and assumption to be, to me, is sad, So I hope that something can come of that, especially because, well, I guess he doesn't, he might not need the production job if, his other job is going to be successful. But, finding jobs in production now is not what it used to be, because productions are down everywhere compared to what they used to be. So don't want that for anyone, Also, I want to see when messy party boys get hired with no talent, they are fired because they have no talent. Now we're crying. I think he has talent, though. That's why I mentioned that the cast and stuff loved him. You know what I'm saying? But gonna move on. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I asked if they would get in trouble if I dropped a little hint, and they said no. So I'm gonna do it. And I'm leading with, it might not be true, but we'll see. Oh my God, I want that. Sorry. I saw somebody just posted a rare Selena DVD, and I'm like, I need that. All right, so let me read this to you. Basically, they said it is confirmed. I don't even like to say that because I don't like doing tea like this. I really don't. I don't even want to say it. I don't care if I don't. Anyway, apparently there's rumors that Candace is coming back and that she's going to announce it like this week or something to Potomac. So we will see if that is true. And if it's not, then I'm going to have one less friend in my life because they know where I'm going to find them. But again, we don't know. I don't know. Don't be going and tweeting and be like, Christian said, no, Christian repeated what a little birdie told him. And that birdie is going to have a hurt wing if the rumor's not true. Okay. So, but that's how much I love y'all. I'm willing to come out here and, damn near embarrass myself, potentially. Tweeting it already. What, you're not tweeting it and crediting it to me? You ain't, because I'm going to report it as spam. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, look, and that's the thing. Like, y'all know how crazy rumors like fly in the Bravo world now. Like, so many rumors of like, who so-and-so is going to Traders and so-and-so is talking to Bravo about a return. And it's like, it is kind of like fascinating in a way to think about where all that starts. Like, does it start in a place of truth and like game of telephone type of thing? You know what I'm saying? And things get stretched out. The truth gets stretched. The truth gets misconstrued. Truth gets miscommunicated. But I also think that sometimes people blatantly just pull this out of their ass. And it's like, I can barely remember what I need to remember. I most certainly cannot add false facts to the world to remember as well, So, but saying all that to say, it could not be true whatsoever. Or we could have Candy Gal coming back to our orbits and I would be okay with it. So get your butter knives ready. Yes, so we will see. What? Oh, also, I wanted to say, speaking of Beverly Hills, wanted to talk about, I'm going to try and talk to Vicki about this on our next episode because, we know that Garcelle doesn't do the cast photo, all that. And I wanted to see, like, what do y'all think about that? Like, as a cast member, would you feel slighted if they didn't do a cast photo at the end? And I feel like all these years of Bravo we've watched, like, yes, there are cast photos, but it wasn't really until there were a few that maybe people started not being in recent years that I realized maybe it's kind of a big deal to the ladies. Like they feel it's a big deal. You know what I mean? So I wanted to see, do y'all think that? Like, y'all just take the group picture before. Like, hello. So yes, Garcelle, she's like, y'all ain't getting this picture. Y'all got to pay for that, pay more. And she walks out. You're cool with Mel, you're cool with them not taking the photo. I'm like, if you want a photo, just make it like they're obligated to do promo and stuff for the show. Just about, this is a promotional image. And also, like, they're literally there like 14 hours a day with on about 85 cameras around. If we didn't get the picture we needed by that point, to me, it doesn't seem like their fault. Also, too, if you want to hear more about that, Reality Court is going to be dropping their Real Housewives of Beverly Hills episode tomorrow with Anna and Ace, who are both my angels. I love both of them. So make sure y'all keep an eye out for that. Also, if you watched White Lotus this week, the finale, I had probably the highlight of my life by somehow found out that me and Teresa were going to get to do a crossover episode this week because our schedules lined up and Vicki's out of town. So I was like, cool, let's hang. And I was like, I wish I could talk to Teresa about White Lotus. When I tell y'all, Teresa said, say less. This woman was out here binging White Lotus overnight. She got almost all the way through. And anyway, I tried to explain some things to her without spoiling it. I'm not going to spoil it, Mel, I promise. Now, I did kind of spoil it for her. So if you see, she wanted me to. So if you see a reel of me and her talking about it, scroll. But if you have watched White Lotus, or if you just want to hear Teresa's reactions and thoughts to everything, it's absolutely hilarious. It was so fun. We did a dual drop. So it's in My Friend, My Soulmate podcast feed. It's in Turning the Tables with Teresa feed. It's on YouTube. Also, it was so cool. Like I said, we were on live together when the Gia trailer dropped. So it was cool to see Teresa get all excited again for her daughter, And yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up, everybody. Can you believe it? We're already almost halfway through the week. And let me see questions really quick. Mel, I just noticed your hat. Do you sell insurance too? No, baby. I just sell the facts that Vicki Gunvalson is an icon. That's what I sell. And this is just maybe a little benefit of being, pro Vicki for years and years. Now, one day, what was it? She had shipped one to somebody. I can't remember who it was. And I looked at her and I was like, do you know what I would want for a gift for a Coto hat? I think we were on the computer, recording. And she goes, okay, you not. It was overnighted the next day. It was literally in my hands within 48 hours. So Vicki is the best about stuff like that. And I've told her, we need to find a way to get these to the people, because literally yesterday in that video with Teresa, so many people were commenting like, I want a Coto hat. I want a Coto hat. So we'll try and find a way to make that happen. Is Teresa doing traders? I have no idea. I don't work in casting for Peacock, probably because they know I'd come on here and ruin it and tell everybody everything I knew. So if I do know, you'll hear it from me. Okay, but I don't know anything. Fingers crossed, though. All right, everybody. I hope y'all have a good week. As always, drop in my DMs, drop in Hurrdat's DMs. If you have something you want me to hit on next week, we will be live on Friday around the same time. And we're going to try and go live over on TikTok, too, at the same time. So if you prefer to be on TikTok instead of YouTube, I'll meet you over there. But if not, meet me right here. And I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. I hope your Thursday is fabulous. And you know what? Go ahead and whoop it up. It's hump day, baby. We're halfway through. Love y'all.